Hey, good morning, guys. I might be out for a few more days here, just waiting for a couple things to come back. But I wanted to give you guys a real quick little update and get you guys going for tomorrow. Or for today, whatever. You watch this video tomorrow, which will be today for you. Anyways, this is for Tuesday. So we're gonna start working on some 3D stuff. Kind of jumping around just a little bit because of my absence. And this is something that you guys will be able to handle. So there will be a Canvas module up called Introduction or Intro to SketchUp, and there'll be an assignment that will accompany that. In addition, there will be a link up at the top. You'll see a link in the assignment that'll give you a link to the SketchUp app. Please use your laptops for this. Your Chromebooks will be fine. You will need to log in, and when you get to SketchUp for the first time, following the link, it'll ask you to log in. Use your school. It'll say Gmail as your account, so go ahead and use your Gmail account, but use your school account for that. And what that's going to do is it's going to get you into the SketchUp interface. And from this point, one of the things that I want you guys to do consistently is when you go to create new, use this little arrow instead of just hitting the create new button. And I want you guys to start with this architectural feet and inches template. And this will pull us into being able to actually enter in feet and inches as we're drawing and designing things. There's going to be a handful of items that I'm asking you guys to draw. First of which will be a chair. It's going to be a 3D chair, and that's what I'm going to ask you guys to start with on Tuesday. Depending on how long I'll be out, I will update you as with new things, and you'll see it through Canvas. And I've been trying to do my best keeping up with you guys on through the announcements. But I hope this message finds you well. I'm going to just real quickly kind of point out a couple of the tools that I'm going to ask you guys to be focusing on, and then I'm going to run through the list of the items that you're eventually going to have to model. But so the first thing is we're going to start out designing or modeling and designing a chair. So what I'm asking you guys to do is a variety of things. Number one, you guys are good at finding YouTube videos. I'm sure you waste plenty of time doing that. We're going to actually use YouTube, and we're going to actually go in and just kind of search out SketchUp. I'm doing it on another screen right now, and we'll just type in SketchUp tutorials, and there's a bunch of really good guys out there that do these tutorials. The guy that always comes up that I really like, I think his videos are really good, is the SketchUp Essentials. And I can't think of the guy's name, but he has a bunch of good videos.
Meet Editor X,
Here real quick. As soon as I jump
the world's most advanced website design platform.
I'm back with the sketch.
This is the guy, Justin, and he runs this whole channel called the SketchUp Essentials. Really good, really good tutorials. And he gets really advanced. So I don't want you to feel too overwhelmed to start out with. The first things that you're going to do are very simple items. This video takes you through some of like the basic tools and things like that. I've also linked this in the intro page for this assignment called Intro to SketchUp. But the first things that I want you to look at is we have three different types of tools. One, we have what we call like our drafting tools. So this is going to be your line. When you hover underneath this, you have a sketch line. You have some arcs, polygons. This is a rectangle, and then you have your different polys underneath of this. And you even have font text down here. So I'm just going to real quickly, and I'm not going to sweat this too much, but the main thing about SketchUp is we have to draw a 2D shape before we can create it into an object. And so we have our draw tools again. That's our line, that's our sketch, that's our arcs, that's our circles, and those sort of things. And then we have our modeling commands. And our modeling commands will actually be twofold. So they'll be modeling and they'll be modifies. So I'm going to go ahead and just use this, we call this the push-pull tool. And so I created just a simple square rectangle. I don't know if it was square. I just drew a shape. And so then I'm able to kind of pull this up and create a box now. I have a three-dimensional shape. And as you're going through SketchUp, keep reminding yourself that there's multiple ways to do this. Like for this example, I kind of drew, let me just erase that and draw another little, leg. So if I drew like a chair leg, that little diagonal lines will tell me that it's going to be a square. Now I could draw more squares, and that's what I'm going to do for this. And I'm not going to be too exact. And you guys in your first couple iterations of this won't be too exact either. But let me just kind of drag this out and see if I can get this really, really close. All right. And then the way that I would normally do this is I would draw lines across here. And I'm going to grab another one because I do want this to look pretty good. So I'm going to come back here and come back here. And then I use my erase tool. And then I'm going to erase these out. All right, so now I got my, I know you guys probably don't see it yet, but those are my chair legs, and I'm going to bring these up, I don't know, maybe 12 inches or something. I'm just goofing off. And I'm going to bring this one up 12 inches, bring this one up 12 inches, and lastly, bring this one up 12 inches. So now I've generated my chair legs. They're short. Don't worry about it. You guys are actually going to do this dimensionally accurate, so I'm going to ask you guys to actually research how big a chair is. And I'm going to grab a rectangle or a square across here, and then I'm going to do some more extruding, and I'm going to make this thing like 2 inches thick, and I'm just going to bring this up all the way around. So bring that up to here. Bring that up to here, bring that up to here, and then I'm going to use my erase tool again, kind of clean off a couple of these lines I don't want that or that, but I do want to connect that line to that line, and then what I'm going to do is, again, use my erase command, get rid of these little extra lines on the side, because I don't need those. Get rid of that, get rid of that. And so one of the things that we'll practice on in SketchUp is generating clean models, which takes that little extra step of deleting those lines. And then we use my extrude tool again, and I'm going to kind of pull this thing up. And so there we go. My beautiful chair that is obviously not going to be the right size. As soon as we look at Hank here, Hank's not going to be able to fit in that chair. Maybe it's a kid's chair. But that is one method, and that's really what we call like an additive type method. And I'm going to show you guys one real quick other way of doing this, and I think you guys will like this approach as well. This one I'm going to call more of like a subtractive method, and so I'm actually going to type in 15, 15, because I want it to be 15 inches by 15 inches square, and I want this chair to be, oops. I'm going to pull this chair up. I'm going to make this chair right around, say right around 4 feet tall. Okay. So we can kind of see there that's probably a little better in scale, but it doesn't really look like a chair. So what I'm going to do from this point is I'm actually going to, instead of doing an additive model, I'm going to sort of do like a subtractive model. And so I'm just going to kind of come off on this side. And again, guys, I'm going to ask you guys to be a little more exact on the sizing. I'm just going to kind of fake some stuff in here just to get me off of this video quicker. But I'm going to kind of just draw this up and just kind of draw a little shape that sort of represents a chair. And this will make sense more in a minute. Again, I'm not really going to sweat the size. I'm going to ask you guys to sweat the size. Let's bring this back down here and sort of bring this back down to this corner. Okay, now I got this wonderful box that's got kind of the profile of a chair on the side. And just like I did before, I'm going to use this press pull tool. And I'm actually going to click on this. And you'll see here, if I sort of like push it through, you can see that I'm going to kind of create this shape. The cool thing is if I go to the other side and just click onto the face, it'll actually cut it out. So if I take this and come around the back side and click it on that face again, I was able to use this subtractive method. The same thing's going to apply for that little slice that I was trying to pull out there. And sometimes that'll happen. I like to just use Control Z and kind of re-hit it up and get it again, and you'll eventually get it there. And you can see, I did this one really boxy because I started with squares and I had to extrude them straight up. This one here, I was able to go a little more creative on the form of this. And again, there's a bunch of tools in here, so depending on how you want to do this and how creative you want to be, this here, I'm just going to kind of put in another funky shape. Again, you guys will be a little more exact on your sizes. And I'm going to push this one through. Now, this is going to present a challenge, and I'll explain what happened here. Basically, what happened there is because these weren't on the same plane, it didn't allow me to subtract it out. So I'd have to come in here and actually use the erase tool. And this is going to present a major, major problem for me. So that method for me would not have worked. I'd have to figure out another way to do that. I could use what we call Boolean tools and things like that. I'm not going to sweat it. You guys probably aren't going to get there and get into like Booleans and things like that. But we'll call that a real quick little stopping point for me. But this is at least going to get you guys going. Start get used to the interface. Start playing around with the tools that are in here. Be creative. I have a feeling a couple of you guys are going to knock out a chair within minutes. So what I would ask you guys to do is if you find yourself in that position where you knock something out really quick, continue the practice and make more practice with it. You guys will ultimately have to create a couple pieces of furniture. And then what this is going to turn into in a very short amount of time is we're going to go from creating like a single piece of furniture to actually creating a whole room. And one more tip that I want to point out before I hop off of here is when you are done an asset, so like a chair is an asset to a model. So when you're done an asset, what I like to do is I like to highlight it. And we have a couple different options here. If I right click on it, I have this option here, and this is the one I want you guys to use for now. It's called Make Group. And then we do the same thing for this chair here. You would say Make Group. I'm not going to make this one a group yet to prove a point to you. And so let's just pretend we had a floor plan drawn, and we had some walls drawn here real quick. And I'm a keyboard guy, so I don't use the buttons too often, but I try to use the buttons when I'm teaching you guys. So there's a room. It's a beautiful, beautiful room. I'm not going to worry about painting it right now. That's another thing is if you look over in here, one of these buttons over here will give you materials. And then you're able to actually start trying to find materials, and you can start painting objects, different colors. I'm going to do some nice, beautiful salmon walls on the inside of my house, and why not do some yellow carpet to go with our salmon walls. And so now what we're going to do is I'm going to grab this chair, and I'm actually going to move this chair to the inside of the house. So I grab this move command. Move works in a from and to. So where do I want to move this chair from? I want to move it from that point right there. And where do I want that point to go? I want that point to go in here on the floor. And so now I've basically got a chair in a room, right? I want to do the same thing here. I want to grab this chair. And if you remember, I didn't make this a group. So depending on how I grab this, see if I grab this chair over here, no matter where I click on it, I kind of grab the entire chair. And if I grab the move command, I'm able to just kind of make that thing move around. If I do that same sort of process for this, and I grab this chair and I say move, and I just say, all right, let's try this again, right? So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to say move, and and if you guys see here, there's a slight difference between what I was doing with the red chair and what I'm actually able to do with this chair. And the reason being is that Well, I just turned our chair into a mailbox, right? Um, so what this is actually doing is this is having me grab the faces rather than grabbing the entire geometry. And again, easy fix to that, select the whole thing, right click, make group. And now if no matter where I click on that chair, because that is considered one piece of geometry, I'm able to move it as one piece, right? So again, that's that from, I want to go from the bottom of the leg. And where do I want that to go? I want that to go onto the floor. Now, don't get scared that you can't edit this chair, right? This chair here you can still edit it. So what you do is you grab your little arrow, you hover over your chair, and you just simply double click. And what you'll see here is that it actually grayed out everything except for the item that you're working on. So if there was a need to come in here and I want to just grab that little line there and change I want to change kind of the geometry of this chair for some reason, and I want to grab this front edge of this chair, and I'm going to move this and kind of create it like a little lean back to it. Right, and so now, I got stuck in the wall, so let me zoom out. I'm done editing that, so I just hit my arrow and I can double click somewhere else. Additionally, I could have just right clicked on it. You know what, I lied. You can't do that anymore. Or you can't do that in regular or online. You can do it in the pro version. So excuse me. So that's going to be your intro to starting your models. So you guys are again, we're going to develop from chairs, a couple other pieces of furniture, and then you're ultimately going to be designing an entire room. And when I say designing an entire room, you're going to be modeling all the little pieces and parts that you want. I'm also going to give you some tips on how to download pre-made things that are already out there. You guys are free to kind of play around. I would just say I'm going to hold you true to creating your own chairs. Do some research, figure out how tall a chair is. You guys will be in the classroom, tape measure, measure some of the chairs that are there if you want to do it that way. I would simply just Google chair dimensions, and you'll probably find some little diagrams of how big a chair is. And so those things will get you worked out. Anyways, it looks like I'm nearing 18 minutes on this video, so I'm going to end it there. I hope to be back really, really soon, so we'll see how that all works out. But hit me up through Messenger on Canvas if you need me. Shoot me an email if you need me. Looks like most of you guys wrapped up the city block project, so good job on that. And I'm going to kind of say this is what I expect you guys to be working on tomorrow. Hopefully you guys all come with your laptops. I highly advise get one of these if you don't have one, just a cordless mouse. If you don't have one and you need one, I don't have any cordless ones, but you can grab a mouse off the perimeter computers for tomorrow if your computer has USB ports. But I'm going to highly advise just hop on Amazon. You can get a cheap one. I like Logitech, the Logitech mice. They just seem to work better and hold up for me, and I use them a lot. There's a couple other brands out there. You can get one for $10. But get that, make that happen, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon. So have a great evening, everyone, or a great day.